You have the confidence to
start. So the Zoom thing, when you record now, they announce that you are going to record the sessions. Rosie. Okay, I usually give people around 11:05 until 11:05. Hi, San. Ooh, new hairstyle. San, you hear me? Hi, San.
I think I got trouble with
No, I can hear you now.
the speaker.
Oh.
Just okay, 1 sec.
Hi, Yi. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
Been a while. Been busy.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I'm glad you still remember me.
It's funny.
Miss Flora, you see my new hair?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would comment on. I was like, wow. Did you dye your
Got new
hair?
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dye it myself. Yeah.
That looks amazing. Something new.
It was actually gray before. It was gray before, but now it turned yellow pretty quickly after a week though. I want to look older. I want to look older though.
Why? No, but it's actually make it so your hairstyle makes your it's brighter, so it's create like a different. It doesn't look older like you want it.
It
Definitely looks. It looks pretty good. I like it.
The color matches your
Thank you.
skin
Thank
tone.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Choice.
You're right. Exactly.
So cool. Yeah.
So let's start. Okay, 1 second. I have an incoming call.
Good morning, chị Whitney.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good.
Hello, Miss Wan. Oh, hello, boy.
All right. Sorry about that. Oh, what is that? Do Whitney? There.
You got your mic. You got your mic off, chị Whitney ơi.
Is that berries?
Berry right?
Blueberry picking.
That's nice.
Wow.
I went to pick blueberries this morning. Just got home.
Oh, it seems that you are fully prepared for this morning, huh?
Where is Ngọc?
So
I think she.
So she's messaged me this morning. She's busy. So we only have William today, and then we can do
Really?
each other.
I think that she got stressed though. I think probably she got stressed out.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
From San, yeah, she was like, San was too much, so I couldn't handle San. I want to chicken out today. No, I'm just kidding. She's busy, so she'll sit next time. Okay. Let's go. So let's start. We supposed to have 2 speakers, but not too busy, as I said. So William will present today, and we have almost everybody on the call familiarized with what we are going through. And I'm just going to go through quickly. I can read it on your free time. We have our mission. This club is to help everyone or assist everyone to be able to feel comfortable speaking English in a different environment. Of course, we all Vietnamese, but we speak English to each other. But then it's a safe place that we can practice and feel okay with our accents, our ability to communicate in a second language. So I hope the group that we maintain the group meeting every 2 weeks. We have 1 week presentation, the other week is social networking, and we have, thankfully, we have William Lam today to present about his story, and he will share with us his story. I hope everyone on the call, one day you'll be able to go and present your story as well. That would be lovely. I'm not going to go through all of this. Again, this event is supposed to be for you to have fun, enjoy, practice your speaking and presentation skill, be yourself, respect each other, and you know, enjoy. Agenda, same thing. We have presentation for 10 minutes, feedback, and then after that we'll have questions and answer, and then we also have a little bit of networking after that as well. So William, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I thought I gonna have like an opening act before my presentations, but it seems like I'm going to be the sole speaker today. So I'll try my best, and hopefully that what we're going to talk today is going to give you some information. When I get asked to do these presentations by Flora, she asked me to do something about procurement career, and I thought to myself, well, I think I'm going to do that, but just for now, I'm going to get out of that obsessions with procurement and supply chain management, and just tell what I've just been through, you know, just in order to land it in the company that I like, and the job and the career path that I really get inspired for. So today I'm going to tell you about my personal story, how I can actually get there, and with the belief that you guys at some point of your life or right now, you already get there. But if you're going to try your best, you can get there. You can get your dream job and dream company and dream place you want to be. So it's gonna be a very long story since I've been to Canada. Here, I don't want to go through like I started schooling here and college, and then I studied blah blah blah, and then I get through a lot of applications in order to get my job. But what I want to focus on is how I did it, and I hope that how I did it actually resonate with you guys, and you can actually take some points to your story, to your personal journey, because I know that job search is an inevitable thing that all of us have to go through at least 1 or 2 or several times in our life. So just a little bit briefing about my professional background. I basically started my career in supply chain management a few years back in Vietnam. And after a year working in a shipping company, I started to think that I should get an education, something more formal and give me a foundations in this field. So I started my journey in Canada as a college as a student, and I got my degree just last December. And I've been through a couple of co-ops before I got my roles at one of the kind of big company here as a procurement analyst. And procurement is the future, is a career path that I want to pursue in the future. But in order to get there, I've been through quite a few ups and downs, mostly downs time. in my job search. And when I went through it and I look back and I feel like it doesn't have to be that hard if you have some tips and if you have some methodologies to help to guide you through the process. And of course, you have some people there for you to support you and to get the guidance or just basically emotional support. So here's a few things that I actually learned and applied to myself that I think really worked. Hopefully it's gonna help you guys in the future somehow. Well, when I think about job search in my mind, I usually compare the job search process as swimming in the ocean, especially for immigrants like us and new grads or newcomers to Canada. We have very little perceptions and ideas about the future career path that we want to pursue. Or even when we have one in mind, we still struggle to fit ourselves into this job market in Canada. And literally, I feel at some point of my job search, I feel like I'm swimming in the sea without any guidance. So let's just imagine you are on the boat in the ocean and you are boat people. Well, if you get my joke. So basically, you don't know where you can actually navigate through in order to get where you want, which is your dream company, your dream job, your position that you want, get into the career or industry that you want. And the very first thing that I did to myself is to have some kind of directions. So like if you swim in the oceans and you feel like, of course, we don't know where we're going to go, even if we have some kind of background back in Vietnam, or even we have some part-time experience, I literally have no ideas when I'm going to get into procurement. So you guys know about Ikigai, which is conceptions from Japan that you should choose your career path based on a few criteria. For me, I think there are 4 criteria that I found highly applicable to my case. The first ones, I always look into myself and try to find what I'm fascinated about, what I can do. And I try to refer back to my previous experience in my previous job, in my previous university experience, or any part-time job, any kind of work, or even back to high school, what I usually like to do. For example, if I like to do math, I would, do something, I would go into something like being mathematics or going to be a web developer or something like that. But I don't know, unfortunately, it doesn't turn out like that. But I like to do math. I also like to communicate with people. I also love talking and get to know people. And also, I always think of the way to go through things most efficiently. So I think that business can be the field for me because that's all the characteristics that a businessman or a business professional need in order to succeed. So I kind of choose this field, business administrations, and also I take into consideration some of my friends' advices. I talked to a friend before and he just told me, hey, do you want to get into supply chain management? Because that is a very happening thing here in Vietnam and maybe in the future. And I think, okay, it sounds reasonable. Marketing and finance is too much for me, and marketing is too competitive for a person without the background within business from the get-go. So I chose supply chain management to go into, knowing that the field is abundant. We have a lot of opportunities and segmentations within supply chain management, and it can be a very potential lane for me to explore. And I picked my my kind of like very initial decision about my future career path that way. The next criteria that I chose in order to identify what I want to do in the future is how helpful, how useful that would be for the society. And in kind of like in a simple word is how I can help other people, how I can make other people's life easier and create value and add value to an organization, to a company, to a group that I'm in. And it's actually a very interesting thing because if you notice, whenever we create values or we make people happy, we will feel happy ourselves too. And that can be the encouragement, very small encouragement, but it's gonna accumulate and becomes your passion someday. And I think that's the underlying meaning of passions to myself, that if I can do something well, I can do something that make people happy, and I keep doing it for a long time, it become my passion. And the final criteria that I use to choose my career path is if I get paid for it. I mean, I'm good at a lot of things. Origami is one of the things that I'm good at. I love to doing it. My friends love to receive my origami kind of products, but I don't think they're gonna pay for it. I mean, not yet, maybe in the future. But then you have to choose a thing, because when it comes to career path, it's basically a job that you have to make ends meet with. So you should have, I mean, I think to myself, I should pick something that I pay well, or at least average, that I can actually make ends meet and make some savings, and, you know, give myself a safe space to do other things that I like. So those are the 4 things that I use in order to navigate or to identify my directions, what I can do, what I do best, what I can do to make other people happy, and what I do so that I can get paid for. Having some kind of directions like that actually help you to eliminate all of the other unnecessary options. I don't go into accounting, I don't go to finance, I don't go to marketing, I don't want to go to HR. I just want to go to supply chain. So what there in supply chain management available for me, I can have logistics, I can have procurement, I can have warehouse management, I can have production planning. And right there, I'm going to use the 4 criteria again in order to identify which directions I want to go to. And it seems to me that procurement is a very related and promising career path that I can go to, because it can actually utilize all of my skills and my interest. And I see that I do the job pretty well. So having something in mind like that can actually help you to navigate through tons of noises outside. The second things that I did, and I'm keep doing it, is to try to grasp any buoys in your life. When you are in the middle of the oceans, right? You have to have all the helps that you need. Having the help means you know all the resources, so you can actually find a job, LinkedIn, Indeed, Workpolis, a lot of other websites that you can actually utilize. I have the tips from one of my business teachers. He told me that whenever you want to find a job, you should set up at least 5 notification from 5 websites. You should have at least 3 recruiter or job hunter working for you. And of course, you should set an alert for a job in 10 to 20 companies that you targeted. For example, I really want to work for Google. Everybody wants to work for Google. So you should set an alert for a job when it pops up with the term procurement or supply chain management. And it's a part of knowing your field, like what you want to work in. Do you want to work in tech? Do you want to work in government? Do you want to work in oil and gas, those kind of like high paid industries? If you can, I think that it's gonna be great if you know that here in Canada or in North America, we have all the abilities. I want to assure you we have all the abilities to get everything we want, so long as we have a plan and we know how to implement the plan and stick to it. So be confident at that point that if you want to get in tech, you want to get in big tech, there's a way for you to get there. And you just have to get to know how you can get there and get to know the right people, the right directions you should go. So I grabbed, the help from the career service from Centennial College. I reached out to Flora, who was a total stranger to me at that time. Get to know her, and make friend of her, and ask a lot of advices and emotional and professional support from her. And that's one example of how you can actually get help from other people or other outside world, or even within your circle. I do have a friend, I call her, a job friend, because we've been through the job search process together. And we always shares this, frustrations or hopes or anything during our job search together. And I think it's really, really helpful for me at the point that I have something to speak out with. It's important. I'm going to drown myself in those thoughts if I keep it in my head all the time. So grabbings on the buoys, you can actually help you to stay afloat, I would say, and help you to go to the directions that you plan at the beginning. That's very important. And the third thing that I think very, very important for me, that I had to keep swimming a bit every single day. So it's important that you see that job search might be your full-time job or your part-time job, but you have to do it every single day. If you cannot stay there and sit there for 3 hours in a row, you can actually break it down into 1 hour and a half, and you take a break, you do something, and you get back to that for 1.5 hours. And you have to do it every single day. You have to keep your eyes on the postings. Is actually give you a sense of the job market, like how the job market is actually functioning and operating. Is there a lot of job over there? Is there a lot of opportunity out there for you? All of those gonna help you to grasp a sense of your job market. So I did 2 things in particular in order to keep swimming every day. First of all, I always categorize the jobs that I want to apply for. I usually categorize them for tier 1, which are jobs that match my career path, have a great location within the industries that I want to be in, a great company, my target company, and those are ideal jobs that I'm going to put a lot of effort into. So believe me, it's going to help you a lot in terms of managing your time and managing your expectation and managing your effort that you put into applying for those jobs. For those jobs in tier 1, I'm going to spend at least 1 hour for one applications in order to customize my resume and cover letter. Read through the job description really, really carefully in details to really understand the profile of the person that they are looking for. And just so you know that I actually get to kind of like a lot of job interviews out of my tier 1 applications, because I feel that I did put a lot of effort into it, and I really understand what they're looking for. For tier 2, it can be a bit less ideal. For example, it can be the job that within supply chain management, but is not in procurement, or is not in the locations that I want, or is not at the pay range that I really desire for. So it kind of like 1 or 2 criteria less than your ideal job. And tier 3, you get it. I want to apply for it because I have a safety net. I don't really want to work in those jobs, but you have to apply for it. Last month, actually, I got another job, full-time job that came from my tier 3, which I didn't expect at all, but eventually I got that. So you would never know what's going to happen to you. You never know what's going to come in your way. So be prepared and, be smart in applying. And the next thing that I did that I feel small, but very helpful and really good for me at the end of the day, which is keeping a tracker of all the jobs and all the job descriptions that I apply for. So, for some companies, they're going to take forever for you to go through the job recruitment process. So at the time you apply, it can be February, and at the time you interview, it can be like May or something like that. And if you don't have the job description to refer back to, you would be clueless about what you're interviewing for. And it's really bad if the job is actually within your first criteria, in your tier 1 criteria, right? Because you want to know exactly what they're looking for, and you want to actually use the keywords in the job description in order to, present yourself. So always keep a tracker of all the jobs that you apply for, and especially copy and paste the job description, store them somewhere. I still remember, and I keep a statistics of what I applied for. For my first co-op college, I sent out 43 applications. For the second job, due to COVID-19 pandemic, I applied for 84 applications, and I got three job offers. And for the hunt for the full-time job, I actually applied for around 60. So actually, I know what effort, how much time, how much energy I put in there, and I really managed it. And it's gonna help you a lot when we move to the next things. The last thing, which I think the most important, which is managing your emotion roller coaster. I know for the fact that some of you are, professional in job searching. You had a lot of job before. You applied for a lot of job. You know the application process very well. But I'm pretty sure to you that it's gonna be a roller coaster. It can spend over one day, 1 week, or it can spend over a couple of weeks or couple of months, or for some people it's even years. So I know a couple of people who spend a lot of time, at least a year, in order to get their very first full-time permanent job in Canada. And I think it's kind of like very normal for immigrants like us to take that long time to get the job that we really want, or just get a full-time permanent position. Our very first job, especially for new grad. So managing your emotion is at most important because it's gonna keep you sane. I'm not kidding. I mean, you don't want to you don't want to apply for a lot of jobs. You wait for half of the year, and when you get the interview of your dream job, you appear like an insane person, a desperate person. You want to appear as professional as you can, and you want to exert that energy to the interviewers or the hiring manager to show that, oh, you are a really emotionally stable person who can conduct the job and who will not be an asshole in the team. So basically, I have a couple of tips that I use in order to manage my emotions and get through the job application, the job search process safe and sound. The first thing that I did, or actually I learned, is knowing what's coming. So you know that the job search process can be very exciting or very hopeful because it shows you a new futures, new opportunities. You're going to have higher salary, you're going to get into a better place, you're going to get closer to your dream job, everything. But you also have to be aware that it's going to be a very frustrating and exhausting process. And this process can actually spend over weeks and months and years. So it's important for you to know that there are some peaks and valleys of this process as well. So there are good days that you get a lot of interviews, but there are also not so good days that you don't hear anything from the recruiters. And you have to tell yourself that it's frustrating. Yes, I acknowledged it. But this is just one of those days that you feel frustrated. There would be more to come, and you have to get back to your pace. You have to get back to your normal self, your well-being self, in order to keep going with this job search. So knowing what's gonna come, gonna help you to be prepared and not be so surprised when there's any valleys that you have to go into in your job search, and how you can actually know these ups and downs is actually talk to people, talk to those who went through the same experience before, talk to those friends that have more experience and have more experiences in applying for job, and talking to your friend to know what's normal and what's normal. And sometimes what is abnormal for you is actually normal for other people. When I applied for the government job, I didn't expect that it's going to take me 5 months. I never actually expect that. For other job, I applied, the span of the process took like 2 weeks. But you know what? I went through 2 weeks of 5, 6 interviews, which is really intense. And I have to prepare for each of them very carefully. So it can differ from one interview, from one job to another job. And by talking to people, get to know what is the norm in the industry or of the job, the company you're applying for, really help you to prepare yourself for those ups and downs. The next thing that I do to manage my emotion is to process my emotions. I know that you're gonna have to encounter a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustrations, a lot of worries, a lot of desperations sometimes, or most of the time, but you have to process that. You shouldn't suppress those feelings and just say it's normal. No, it's not normal. Seriously, you are being anxious and you are being worried about your future career path. It is normal. The normal you is to go out, have fun, be happy, be with happy people. So it's important for you to process, or it's important for me to process those emotions. And what I did to process those emotions is to, first of all, I keep a journal apart from the tracker, the job tracker that I kept. I also kept a journal of the job applications, especially for those days that I got interviews or those days that I found a very exciting job. I would keep a journal and I keep doing it for like 10 to 15 minutes every single day. And it's really, really helpful for me to get rid of those negative emotions or those exhaustions that I have. Sometimes I just write stupid thing like, oh my God, I'm so out of this. I'm so done. I'm going to buy myself a car when I have my first job. Something very silly, but it's gonna help you. It's gonna keep your spirit up. So try to find a way to process your emotions. Don't suppress that. And knowing that those can be healthy as well if you know how to process that and express it in a positive way. The next thing that I do that I cannot emphasize enough, which is finding support. You have to reach out to a career coach. You have to reach out to your friends or family members or anyone who have more experience and more stable than you in terms of emotions and mental state. You have to get a friend to share this experience with. You have to get all of those support, because for me, although I got something out of my mind, I got an amazing job, I got an amazing career path that I want for, but I cannot deny that I got a lot of support during those days. And I cannot thank them enough for being there for me, talking to me, listen to me whining, and actually giving me, very good advices. And those gonna stay with you. Those gonna strengthen the relationship you have with your friends and with the circle. And you're gonna basically have something to talk about when you go through all of this. So having all the support around you is important. And again, who knows what's gonna come? Maybe one of your support can actually offer you another job opportunity that you never actually think of, right? So be active in engaging with people and sharing your emotions and your experience. Now, talking about engaging, I would have to say, apart from sharing and talking, you have to engage into energizing activities. In other words, exercises. So you have to find an exercise that you like. Might it be running, might be playing badminton like what I did, might be doing kickboxing, something that really picked up your hormone, your adrenaline every single day. So you have to try to find a way to factor it into your daily life, knowing that it's going to help you to keep yourself sane and normal and healthy and resilient. So you have to find a way to do that, although it's really physically exhausting at the same time. And some friends told me that, Lam, I really exhausted with the job search. I don't want to have another exhaustions and disappointment about myself by not being able to run for like 10 minutes. I know it's going to be hard at first, but then you get used to it. And when you get used to that habit of running, for example, you would feel that it's kind of like something fun that you do to get yourself out of your head every single day and do something differently. Something energizes you. Okay, so the last things that I think I did in order to manage my emotion and my expectation at those times is to put things into perspective. So there were a lot of times that the recruiter didn't get back to me at the time they promised, or if they promised me in 1 week, they're going to probably take like 2 weeks or so. Knowing that our job search can be very important to us, but might not be their top priorities in the day or in the company. So it can change, and the timeline can actually, differ from one place to another. And some things you have to understand that. You have to know that the recruiter has a lot of things to do. The hiring manager would have their daily tasks. It's very hard to take them out of their daily routines in order to interview you or to get back to your queries on time. So be patient a little bit, knowing that there are a lot of things going around. It's just not you applying for a job, but other candidates also applying for a job as well. one day you can be very excited knowing that you are the best candidate for the job, but the next day you would know that the job went to someone else and is totally normal and is just a matter of, again, expressing yourself, process your emotions, find some support and get rid of it, okay? So I think this is pretty a lot, and it's kind of like a very long speech. But all of those are things that I went through and I use, and I actually found, very efficient for myself. And I'm sharing with you. Maybe you can pick some of them, maybe you can pick all of them or none of them. But at the end of the day, you would find your way through the job search application, the job search journey. And I know that you will get there. You just have to get on your boat, find your directions and head out, and you're going to get to where you want to be. And I always have that belief in myself and in yourself. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope this helped you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, William. And it's been over 20 minutes, and you guys noticed that I didn't stop William because we only have one speaker. But I have to say, my first impressions with William is like amazing. Even though he was telling that, Florida's a total stranger. But when I first met William, he impressed me so much because his detail oriented. I'm not a detail oriented person. I'm not, even though I work in IT, and Sam's laughing. Okay, stop that. But I have to admit, he's very, very detail oriented, and that's why it fits what he's doing. Job shirts and being in the procurement and read contract and stuff like that. Because when I go through with William on his job shirt, he literally have every single company that he applied for on the spreadsheets. And I learned from that, because that's a great tip, guys. If you search for a job, you keep records of what you're searching for, or maybe something, someone you're dating, you keep a press feed of who you're dating yourself with. I'm just kidding, just the upside. But he's great. He have great tips on how you do a job search. He well prepared for his interview. I'm impressed. And he said, oh, Flora showed me this, that, but I learned a lot from William. I learned a lot on how he searched for a job, how you be patient, and how you prepare for interview, and be patient with your job search. So if you're new grads, be patient with your job search and be prepared with William. He had so much great tip. And origami, I love to learn those. I don't know how to do them. The only thing I did was just like those stars that I make for my husband in a jar that he still keep them, and I totally don't remember how to make them anymore. And Sam keeps laughing because, anyway. So supply chain. So we have at least 2 person in this call doing supply chain. So I know William's reason. Swan, why supply chain?
Well, I think it came to very practical reasons. First of all, I want to do a degree in business. So within business, I found that there are a lot of competitions in other functions like marketing, finance, HR, and I found that supply chain is kind of like a myth for everybody, a promising lane that no one actually noticed, or not a lot of people notice. So I can actually earn competitive advantage over other people if I go into this. It's kind of like a well-paid field as well compared to other business jobs. It's pretty new. It is high demand and people willing to pay more for experts. And it's actually a combination of calculations of math and business acumen. So I have to understand how business run, but I also have to sit down and crunch the numbers. So it's really something that I can do. I specializes in physics and math. Back in high school, I did pretty good math, and I also be pretty outgoing person for the past couple of years. So I think those combined together can actually help me to thrive in supply chain management and in procurement in particular. And just that's some kind of like very initial or preliminary ideas that I have in order to choose this career path. But believe me, up to now, I don't know everything and I still explore, and I still have to reach out to a higher level and try to learn what kind of skills are going to, going to be needed in the future for me to develop. So I'm still exploring, but it's so far so good. Like I said, I still feel that I create values. I still help other people, help the company, and it's something that keep me going every day until I get where I want to be. Which I means being a millionaire. I don't know if supply chain actually can get you to be a billionaire, but I think that it's gonna give you a lot of experience, good experience.
Awesome, thank you. San,
Why do you keep pointing the finger at me, Flora?
I know you're my favorite with Sven as well. Well,
Maybe she likes the new hairs. Maybe she likes the new hairstyle. It's so outstanding out of us.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I've been through a lot, so yeah.
So, any comments then? 'Cause you-
He was a great presenter, I guess. Like really, really good. The amount of like vocabulary, the academic terms, and whatever he put into the presentation was so much that I wish that I could use just a tiny bit of that in my presentation, because
So much.
me too.
I was just basically can communicate with my own language, like really normal, basic way. But for me to put the amount of like academic terms in use like that, it was a big help. And I no wonder that he got a job in TTC, I guess. Yeah, he got it. You
Wow.
work in TTC, right? Like, yeah,
Kinda.
you're speaking is, yeah, your work. You're good, man. You're good. Yeah, I work in logistics and supply chain as well, but like, I started logistics and supply chain with no clue what I'm gonna do. It was just like the atmosphere of Vietnam was so tight for me, so I need an escape from my life. So that's why I just picked a random city, a random major, and I just flew over here and then just popping into the industry. Right now, I work as a logistic coordinator in in a surgical medical company. But the mostly basically the job duties that I do every day is not really much. After 3 months of probation, you basically learn everything for the shipping and receiving, mailing, calling, and contact the like sales rep or whatever it is. So it just kind of stop over there. But I don't know what going to help me to advance my career. But your presentation was good. Yeah, I appreciate that. Really useful. First time
Well-
they had first time they had the one who actually work in the industry speak about our career. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, San. It's a really interesting thing to meet and know that you also work in logistics. I chose not to work in logistics after 1 year working in that international shipping company, but it's kind of like, good experience in a way that something that you're not go into, right? So that's one of the reason why I picked procurement. It's just interesting that you also mentioned that you work for this company, and I don't know why, how that I work for TTC and now I'm Flora's colleagues. But if you noticed, because this is kind of like a sharing section as well, so I just sharing my thought. If you notice, I upmeet the information that I work for TTC because I don't want that to be my identity. I want to show people that I work in procurement. That's going to be my long-term goals. That's going to be my long-term career path. TTC doesn't define my identity. It can be a very good stage of my life that I started to work for TTC for now, and it's kind of like big company, good place to be. But it's not. It's going to be a part of my identity later, maybe. But it's not something that I want to introduce myself with. And this is actually a research from a, I think she is a psychologist for Philadelphia University, a really big university in the US. And she wrote this one. If you can go to a networking event and you just introduce about what you are doing without introducing about where you are working, that's going to be the goal of the networking event that you should go into, because people need to know about you as a person, as a work that you do, and as the long-term goal of your life, not necessarily the place that you work for. So I also really appreciate that you are so interested into my background that I'm working for TTC, but it's just something that I want to say. And professionally, I think like it's not really necessary for me to go to networking events. I work for TTC, and I think that it's going to be big name, it's going to big brand name, it's going to impress people. You know, maybe it's big for me, but for other people, government place, never, kind of things. You know what I mean. So
Yeah,
it's just
I
something
just
that I share.
yeah, I just assume that it's from I read a text from Doug
Oh,
in
okay.
the chat area, and I thought that you're working in TTC. That's why I thought he making a joke over there, and I think that you work in TTC, and I think that you work in TTC. That's why I'm speaking that you work in TTC though.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
started for a week. Yes, I do, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of
Guys,
it.
for all of you on the call, TTC is the public transportation company in Toronto, and Toronto is a big city, and we're great for being a big city, but TTC is the one most complaint service that being in
It's
the city.
true.
So that's why William doesn't want his identity so associate with a company that providing so bad service to a big city. So
Maybe.
just all the call that people not from Toronto to be aware of, and Rosie's laughing.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great that we in Canada and we in big city, and same thing, William, when I wanted to work for the TTC, I was like, I'm gonna come there, I'm gonna change the whole thing, I'm gonna make subways better. 2 years after, I'm gonna be like, oh gosh,
Manager.
it takes so much to change something.
Yeah.
And that's why all of you on the call, when you find your first job and you work for a company, you was like, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna change the whole world. And that's how I felt as well.
Yeah.
And you slowly start to lose that sort of passions and don't ever, because it's not you, it's them. It's not me, it's you. That's kind of the relationship. And I think working and even personal relationship have the same thing. When we're passionate about something that we do, we kind of bond ourselves and bond our identity with the company, with that person. And when we let go, or when we leave the company, or when we leave that person, it's like, oh, a part of me is losing.
Yeah.
But you don't lose your identity, or you losing person. Just like William quoting that psychologist quote, that you work for a company, but it doesn't identify, or it doesn't define who you are. Who you are is always who you are, and you always thrive wherever you are, either professionally and personally, right? And Rosie, I think William has great tip for you to find your job. 45 companies, right?
Flora, I think it also, like the point that we just discussed, also works the other way around. When you work for not so big company or just a local company, you have nothing to be ashamed about, because it's the work that you do, is the values that creating every single day, that the long-term career that you want to pursue actually identify who you are. It's not like, okay, I work for a local small no-name company and I'm not proud of myself, kind of things, right? So if you kind of like, if we can all get rid of that idea of, okay, I'm working for big company, I'm working for not so big company, I'm working for just small company, then we all be proud of the work that we do. Then that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Maybe you are not working for TC today, but maybe in the future, like in 5-10 years, you're gonna get into a bigger company, Amazon, for example, right? So yeah, that's my point.
And that's why I want to encourage everyone to work for Amazon, because they're so big. And it's so great on your resume that you work for Amazon. I'm a big fan of Amazon. Adam doesn't. He isn't. The reason why I like Amazon is because Jeff Bezos, you know those guys. Why do I like Jeff Bezos? It's because his mentality and his leadership principle. It's not about I manage you, it's about you a person, you're doing great, and you would help the company thrive. And that's why if I don't have responsibility, I'll probably aim for Amazon, because the principal leadership help you grow as a person professionally, right? So Whitney, you have a question or you have a comment to make. and I hope you enjoy your blueberry. You know, just one thing before you make comment, we was in that physical social gathering, and I hope, you know, we would see you there. I know you live really far. You make a trip a month ago or a few weeks ago to Toronto, but you know, and in some time, I hope to see you in person as well.
Yeah, I hope I can meet everyone in person very soon. So regarding the sharings, so I just want to make some comments. I find a lot of similarities between William's job search journey and mine. So not sure if we have anybody who is in their job search journey right now, but I just wanted to point out a few things. So the first thing is that we both knew what we wanted to go into. So a lot of young people, especially young people, new graduates, they don't really know what they want to do, and they keep looking around, so on and so on. And we know what we really want to work in the field, like the kinds of jobs such as procurement. I personally really want to work in human resources. And the second thing is one tip that is very important. And that is something that I learned during my journeys as well from a friend. So previously, as many other people, I applied like almost everything that I found online. For example, I set up like the auto notification on Indeed and on Glassdoor, and I basically applied for all the jobs that were online at that moment. And later on, I learned from a friend that it wasn't enough. So a better way is to target some companies that we wanted to work at. So for example, as for William, he really chose TTC in the very beginning. So there is a very special tip that I wanted to point out. So we want which companies that could be good employers, and we focus on those companies only, check their websites, set up job alerts, etc. And that is a very good tip. And that way, when I think it could be a little bit slow because not all of them are posting the job all the time. So basically, we have to miss by applying on Indeed and following the job alerts from those companies. And but that way we get good practices. So for example, like for me, going to job interviews is a good way to practice our interviewing skills. And if we don't apply for the jobs in smaller companies, we don't get any practice, and suddenly we get a job interview at a large company. So at a time, I may say that we don't get enough practice to present ourselves in front of the interviewers. And the other way, so the other thing that is very important, as William pointed out, is to get some friends, like those who are in the same journey, and share with them like emotional control. And it's good to have somebody to share about our stories, like somebody that we can complain about everything. Yeah, so I wasn't lucky enough to have any Vietnamese friends when I was in my job search journey, but I went to some events and I met several people. So they are immigrants from India, and they have a lot of experience in human resources previously before coming to Canada. So to be honest, so in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I really wanted to work in human resources, but at some point I realized that, or maybe we just need like a survival job also. But by making friends with Indian people, those Indian immigrants, so they remind me every day that, oh, we need to work hard to get into our field. So that is a very good thing. Yeah, hopefully you guys can get some friends in the same journey, and they remind you every day about your purposes.
And chị Whitney với chị Flora, I have some really weird feel about helping people within the community. Like I see that a lot of like Indian guys that I know, they really help each other. But for our community, when I see the Vietnamese people, now I'm not saying it to anyone, but lots of the people that I know for my network in school or when I read the news or whatever, the Vietnamese community, it tend to push other people back of the position. They're not trying to help other to. So if you secure a job, it's your like, if you can help some other people to land a job, that's good because they're not really gonna steal your job. But like the other people, like I don't see it, but I see it a lot. Like people, Vietnamese people outside, they would just keep, oh, you can do it, so don't apply for it. It's not good for you or whatever. Even I don't know. Like it's just my thought. I just don't like it. But yeah, but I see it a lot.
I
see it
know.
a lot.
I understand what you mean, and that's why together with the HNV and Swan and this club, I hope that we spread that sort of mentality out to help others, Vietnamese. And I think I shared with William yesterday as well that I don't see enough support from our community to our own Vietnamese, because the older generation, they have different mentality, and now we with the young generation, we can change that. We can change and support each other. And just like William said, you know, Flora, a total stranger, and now, you know, he's my colleague, and I'm so happy that he found a job in TTC, and now I can have a Vietnamese work buddy to
Work
like
buddy, yeah.
to work politics together. And I feel very sorry for your journey as well, G. Whitney. I was the same, that I have to talk to Chinese other race culture to resonate with my job search and understand how things goes. And I didn't have a support back then, and that's why I want to stand up and say, guys, I'm the Vietnamese who want to support you, even though I don't know much, but I will support you mentally, maybe mentally and physically if I can, in my power to help you. And I hope other will feel the same way and support other as well. And that's why G. Whitney is here to support us in the SpeakUp. Sam's here all the time. Swan is here. She has something to say, and I'm sorry I speak too much, but Rosie also have comment because she's gonna go to Canada in August, and hopefully she'll have the support from the community like everyone else. So before Swan makes her comment, let Rosie talk and make her comment.
Okay, thank you, Chief Flora. Thank you and William for the very nice and helpful presentation. Yeah, so actually I was a student in supply chain, so the same industry that and William is working for it. I just got a question for William related to how much of what you study from school have you in your daily work. And the other more important question is, do you sometimes review your notebook, like to support for your work? Because now I'm just finished my first year in my school, and I'm gonna continue the second year in September, and I'm gonna graduate in next May. So I just wondering, like, I'm taking note all the time, but I feel like it would be useful, but I don't know how to organize the note, like which one I should be set aside and let it prepare for me and ready for me when I need to review my knowledge and everything for the work in next summer or something like that. So just want to know some experience from you and maybe understand as well.
Okay. So thank you a lot. Thank you so much for your questions. I think they are very, popular among students in new class. How much we learn from school that actually can be applicable for our jobs. I want to answer your second question first. Do I keep my notebook or do I keep my notes during class? I have to tell you that I consider myself as a book smart person. I'm not so street smart person. So everything I do, I prefer to read it in theories first and try to have a structure, knowledge, or everything that is proved scientifically by research. I would go from there. So I have to say that I always enjoy reading the textbook and learn from that. Although I have to admit that I don't remain all of those knowledge in my mind, but I always try to keep a framework of what I learned at school. For example, when I go into procurement, like at school, we learn a lot of things about supply chain management. And just like I said, there would be a huge area of supply chain management over there. There are a lot of segmentations and we learn all of those. We kind of like touch base with every single part of supply chain, but in my job right now is procurement. And when I took this job or the previous jobs, I refer back to the procurement course that I study. I take the textbook out and I read through it. And I look at the job descriptions and I try to figure out what kind of knowledge that I would need. And then I'm going back to the textbook and read that. So I always keep in my keep in the back of my mind that where I can find the knowledge. It can be in the textbook, it can be in the material that I read, it can be from the outside resource. But I have to tell you that I found that in Canada, the education is pretty practical and is up to the demand. So the things that you learn at school is pretty much the things that you're going to do at work, although it's not going to be totally the same. For example, if you are doing purchasing and procurement, you would know the process called procurement to pay, right? From the time we procure something to the time we pass it to accounting and pay for the invoices. No one's going to tell you what is procurement to pay process and what are the stages of procurement to pay process. When you get into the job, you yourself have to train yourself and you get that knowledge from school. And that's when and where you're going to go back to the textbook and read. What is the procurement to pay process? What stages? And in my job right now, the procurement to pay process is not exactly the same as in the textbook. So it's going to have some more stages. It's going to have some less stages, but basically I know the concepts. So that's can actually where you can utilize the knowledge you learn at school. And I myself always keep a PDF file of all the material that I have in school, either it is case studies, either it is especially textbook and course book, or any kind of assignments that I have. I have to admit that in college environment, they teach the things that we're going to do at work. It's not some just theories. So it's very valuable for you to really pay attention to the assignments and to the case studies that we did, because I do a lot of things, of course, in a more extensive level of the things that I learned at school. So yeah, that's good to be, and especially if you have a degree, use that. It's just not something that you go to school for 2 years and you say, I learned nothing. I myself have to get over this thinking that everything I learned in school is just not sufficient for me to do the job. But the reality it is not sufficient. You would never ever find any school that teach you everything you're going to do at work. They give you the framework, they give you the methodologies, they give you a way to research your way out of a task. But you have to, learn more in the job training. You have to learn more in the designations. You have to take more classes. It's the reality, it's the norm. So you have to get used to that. And school, even you get to the master degree level, even you get to the PhD degree level. I do have friends who are PhD in supply chain management, and the higher you go, the more specialized you go into the field. So basically you don't know anything. You don't know everything about what you study. So you have to equip yourself with the self-study skills, self-research skills, and learn, unlearn, and relearn everything you might learn at school, at work. So that's what I found in reality. Like, Yeah. But if I keep claiming that school doesn't do anything for me, then it just kind of like hurt me at the end of the day. Instead, I take a pride of what I did at school and try to take it from there and just improve myself more. So I think that's a positive approach. I hope that is gonna answer your question somehow.
Yeah, it is. And I still remember one time you told me that even though you study offline, it's still hard for you to digest all the information and knowledge from school. So I just finished my first year fully online from Vietnam, different time zone and everything. And I study in the school that have very intense schedule. So I got a lot of information and new knowledge, but everything just online. And I feel like it's really interesting, but I need more time to digest because my body clock is different. And the thing is, like, we study on campus, we can stay more time with the professionals and instructor to ask more. But like, feel like in the online environment, people just want to leave the room as soon as possible. And even though after class, I almost pass out, like I don't have any dream anymore. So it's a little bit like disadvantage of study online. But I think you sharing me some good insight before, so I feel like I take my time to review whatever I understand or still confused, and just relearn, unlearn, and relearn everything. And one more good thing from what you just said is, I should learn how to study and how to work, how to find out, like asking the right question and find out the way to solution for it. So that's the way that I know from you and also my Black classmate. Like, one good thing in my class, even though we study diploma, but a lot of my classmates, they already work in the industry for like a few years already, or even they are manager. So I always keep the habit, like whatever the teachers say, I'm asking them, are you gonna do that at work? Like, to double check, because sometimes it's very like theoretical, or it's kind of like, it's hard for me to figure out how it's in the real work, like to be in details or in small tasks. So yeah, I think it's what we learn the most for now is learn how to ask the right question, how to research and find the resources that can help us to learn the way to find out a solution. So thank you for that.
Well, I think that I know that you are very ambitious business professional, and I really, really love that energy from you. And just to assure you that you are right, we have a lot of things to digest, we have a lot of things to learn, but you forget one thing. We don't just have 2 years of college to learn all of them. We have the whole life to learn them. There's a saying that we usually overestimate what we can do in 1 day, but we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. So basically, you are at school and you are learning this knowledge for the whole life. You're not going to do supply chain management diploma college another 2 years in your life. So basically, you are suppressing everything into 2 years, and that's normal. That's the way you learn. So try to take in as much as you can. Keep a record of what you study. Keep kind of like an archive of your material, because going into the future, you have to refer back to them and learn and kind of like absorb them day by day. And then that's what I feel, that's what I actually discover when I transition from school to work, because they're not going to be there to test all of knowledge you have to have, right? They're going to give you time to do the job, to develop, to like grow. So basically, you have time in your life to refer back to them, read the material, and start to absorb. Who's here can raise your hand and say that you are an expert and you know everything in your field? Please raise your hand. Okay, so I have to admire you. Okay, you are an expert. I'm going to go to you every
because I
time
have
a
Google.
cybersecurity. You know that I should invite you. Like last month, Humber River Hospital have this cybersecurity attack, and all the system just down. So I should invite you.
It's not my fault or your fault. Anyway, guys, so I just want William's here, and great, thank you for being here, William. But I want you to know that all of the information today, one thing I want you to take away is that you see William energy, how he's so confident talking about himself. You have to be confident talking about yourself as well. Even though it's book smart, street smart, it's the same thing. You have to be confident in what you know and what you have to offer. And when you be in front of the employer, or when you try to pitch your business, that the confident people want to see. And that's what I want to do in you and myself as well. And that's why, hence, this is the event. So Swan, make your comment.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief Flora. First of all, I would like to thank you, William and Chief Whitney, for sharing your job search journey. To be honest, I have been through the same. Like no hiccup in life in job search. We are on the same here in Canada. So thank you so much for that. And as I said, like Tran, like this is here why we are here today. Like we build up a community to make it stronger. And thank you so much, like San, Adam, Tran, Chị Hoa, Thảo Phạm, Len, and Tian Nguyen for being here today, for taking your time to be here with us and sharing your story. We are looking forward for your visit, right? So come to us and we're trying to build up our strong community. That's all for me. Thank you, Flora. Over to you.
No problem. And Whitney, you have an additional comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Rosie that which college you are going to, and yeah, like just said, yeah, I listened to your presentation, but just wanted to learn a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm studying in British Columbia Institute of Technology, BCID in Burnaby, so Vancouver. Yeah, 2 campus. And my program is Business Operation Management diploma, 2 years, but it's mainly focused on operation and supply chains.
So how do you feel about teamwork at school, especially in the virtual situation now?
Yeah, it's a lot of projects I need to do in team. In what to say, I think I'm lucky enough because I did working before go back to school. So I have 3 and a half working full time in Vietnam. I feel like since we're working for a while, we start knowing how to work with people, how to make ourselves productive in a team, and how to work hard to work smart. So I think I can apply the kind of concept to the school flow. It's just difficult in the time zone, but it's everything to take time. At the beginning, I just step back and see how many people we have in the table, know my friend, where they're from, the culture, the kind of age or background stuff. So just get to know each other a little bit day by day, and let them know like the time zone that I have different with them. But I always were the one like follow any time zone, any time schedule that work for them, because I feel like I'm just the only one in my class that have the different time zone. Like everybody just in Canada already. So I just follow. But by time when I know how to work well with people in team, even different member in different teams, they start to feel like I'm helpful in a team, that I'm very flexible when it comes to time, when it comes to tasks, and I had people understand, even though it's new industry to me, but I feel like I need to take my time to learn more not from the school, from friends, from everything. So whatever that's true to me, I'm accepted, and find a way to see how I can narrow my time, like negotiate for better time for meeting and suggest my solution. Like at the beginning, I'm rarely talk. Like I want to know more about people before I talk. Then one after a few assignments, I know people, I know how to work, how to deal with the kind of course in school. Then I raise my voice more often. I just share more solution that I think. And the thing is, we have people with different like classmates, different backgrounds, different career before. So they find that I'm helpful as well. Like I'm very informative, and I'm always a reminder for them when it comes to time meeting and how many tasks that we're still pending on. So I feel like everybody, luckily in my class, happy to work with me. So I have a good experience when it comes to teamwork so far. And even though if I have like any bad experience, I think it's fine because bad people bring like, it's also a good experience because I don't know what's happening, like what's waiting for me in Canada, but whatever happened to me, I'm welcomed it. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm welcome everything and not be to panic because new thing happen. It could be bad, could be joyful, but it's the decision that I make. So I should welcome it first and learn from it, and then apply to teamwork to everything in my life. So thank you for the question, but I feel like I have a lot of teamwork in September. It scared me a lot because so much on school, but I love this. I love to know how people do, what do people think, what made them decide the resources they need or the way they solve the solution. I learn from the way they think than the answer. And that's helped me to understand people, why they think about it, why they decide that, and why they want me to do that, some kind of stuff. It's very interesting to me to learn from people, the way they think, and the background behind them, the culture behind them, and what made them more outstanding or what made them to be an A student, something like that. It's very interesting to me.
So for everyone on the call, besides you, Whitney, Rosie is still in Vietnam, so it's 11 p.m. there, and yeah, I know she's trying to keep staying up and try to keep up with her work, but she's in Vietnam. She's doing incredible work, and as you can tell by the way she analyzes things, she's a thinker, just like William and majority of us on the call. We're a thinker, and thinkers thinks a lot. So stop thinking too much, just like I'm trying to myself. Stop analyzing things in our head and stop trying to figure out what that person in front of us thinking. Be ourselves, and you'll be fine. You know, that's what I'm telling myself as well. You'll be fine. You'll be great. And we have Tegan. She's new today and she just joined. And I know Tian's, you know, she's rejoined us as well from other calls. We'll let Tegan introduce herself.
There's an arrow near the microphone button. You click on that and you choose the speaker you want. So it's going to be auto set into the system of your laptop or whatever. But if you use a microphone, so you
Are you sure you don't want to be an IT tech guy? Because you know, very helpful, and you're in supply, you know, in supply chain. You sure you don't want to change to IT? Get more.
I do think about reschool, Flora. I do think about reschool.
You know, I talked to someone yesterday about how she went to marketing and she doesn't know what to do with the marketing degree. And a lot of us, I know a lot of us, my mom told me to be a doctor, and either a doctor or a lawyer. And I said, Mom, I don't want to be a lawyer because I'm not a liar, and I can't be a doctor because I don't like blood. So I cannot either or, but I can be some other person where I enjoy what I do and then be myself and help other people. So she said, okay, you can do IT because I know you're very helpful. And that's why I'll go back to Stan. It's like, do you want to be an IT help desk guy? Because that's what we do. We help people solve computer problems.
So Rosie, so in the time that we're waiting for Tegan to come back, so when I don't know, because we both didn't have any experience in logistics and supply chain before, and when we get into graduation and when we're trying to find a job search, I just want to heads up for you that if you apply for an entry-level job at our kind of job, the required skill that the employer that aim for you is not the knowledge that you gain from your school much. It mostly about the people skill, because working in supply chain management, it all's about teamwork and make the process to be work smoothly. So you work on your people skill, and then you're going to be fine landing your first entry level job. And I know we have times, like William said, we have like a year, like a whole life to learn, right? So you have time to advance your career. So when you land your first job, it's going to be more easier for you in the future. So work on yourself, because I think most of the question that the employer going to ask you is how you work at your school, like how you do your teamwork, how about what blah blah blah, but mostly about the way that you solve the problem in the school. It's not about, oh, how you do that, because they know that you didn't know how to do it, because you're not in their process, because each of the company has a different process. So yeah, no rush, take your time, you'll be fine.
Thanks, San. Okay, go Tegan. You ready?
So sorry, everyone. My name is Tegan, and I'm really glad to be here. Oh, my Vietnamese name is Thơ, by the way. I'm located in Toronto, and I've just graduated from my degree program in early childhood leadership. So I work with children and families and the communities, children from 0 to like 12. So if you have children and you have some questions, concerns, just come to me. I'm really, really glad to be here because I've been struggling to find a Vietnamese community because that's what I am identify myself with. But like, since I came to Canada, it's so hard to find a Vietnamese community.
How long have you been in Canada? Your English is so good.
4 years.
Really?
Yeah, I came in 2017, April.
4 years?
4 years.
Your English is so good, and you're focusing on early childhood. It's like, oh my gosh. How do you adapt with the culture?
Honestly, I struggled a lot when I first came here because of the culture shock, and like my English wasn't so good back then. And you know, like working with families and children, you kind of have to speak good English.
Exactly, yeah.
So I worked so hard on that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't try to find Vietnamese people around me, because I want to immerse myself with English speaking people. But now that I am ready, I want that Vietnamese community back.
You make me feel so bad because it took me like over 10 years to get this top sort of talking, and I'm still struggling because there's certain things that like I don't know. And certain things, when I talk to my kids, they don't speak Vietnamese at all. Yeah. Don't judge, guys. But when you have kids, you know. But 4 years. So one day I will get you to present the tip how to speak that good in 4 years. That took me over 10 years to do that.
I will try my best to share all my lessons, experience or whatnot. But I think my secret is that I learned French when I was really young, and I learned French for like 12 years. So like in Vietnam, instead of studying English, I study French. So that's why it helps with the pronunciation. But like grammar wise, I'm not that confident.
Wow, you speak 3 languages. Awesome. San just keeps like laughing. Okay, let's Tien share a little bit of what's up, Tien. We have 4 minutes to go. So let's hear Tien share his story for the past couple months now, Tien.
Oh, sorry, is that me or the other?
No. Okay, we can hear you now.
Oh yeah. So, sorry. I thought you was talking to the lady, so I kind of.
Welcome back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. So well, story is incredible. Like listen to everyone. Oh, thank you, Sam. So actually, like, no, I will listen to her, and it was like, Wow, well, keep going, keep going. I'm listening.
So we want you
So
to talk. That's the whole point of this sort of event, right? Everybody have a chance to talk about yourself, feel comfortable to share whatever. And we just want to get your update for the past over a month that we see you.
yeah. So basically, I well listened to your story from everybody here is incredible. It's really emotion, and I learned a lot, like a lot of tips in there. So job searchings and networking, incredible. Oh, I really like the mentorship programs. I miss it. I wish I
Season 2.
yeah. I wish they have like the second seasons or third season so I can apply for it. But well, I miss it. So basically like because right now I kind of like stuck with the oh yeah, I'm waiting for season 2. Yeah. So kind of right now I'm still stuck in the job because like it's like I have to do this job because like I apply for a program for PR, so I stuck here. But meanwhile, I recently I work a lot on myself. Like it's a self development, so I just learn by myself, and I just find out this one recently because like I really like to compete because I like sport. But then I realized one thing: like if I keep compete with anyone's like everybody outside, I just get more and more negative. And then I find out that oh, I should compete with myself. Like why don't I set a goal tomorrow? Like I have to do this. Like so I be a better version of myself than yesterday. And I pick up from Rosie. Yeah, I like the idea of thinking, like analyze people. Sometimes I over analyze, but recently I learned another thing is called meditation. And it's oh man, honestly, that was the best thing ever on this earth. Like after that one, holy crap, like I can literally see through anything. Like it's so clear. Trust me, some guys, if you really stressed, don't looking for drugs. Don't, all right? Trust me, that's the advice. Try meditation. If you can do that thing, I swear you can put all the stress in the world away from you. And yeah, it's really peaceful. Like after meditation, it's just literally like you can do that every day. So try to do that like 15-20 minutes every day. Then you feel really calm and peaceful, like you can do anything and you can believe in yourself. That's it.
Did you find who you are while you meditate?
Yes, I did. Yesterday, like 2 days ago, I try for normally I do is around 15 to 30 minutes maximum. But 2 days ago I tried like 45 minutes and then I was like, wow, it's incredible, it's awesome. Like the it's impossible to share the clarity that I feel at the moment. So that's why I suggest you guys should try it because it's incredible. It's impossible to share with you, but if you can try it, and it's really awesome. So that is one of many things I have learned recently. And otherwise, I read some book and hang out with friends.
I'm so jealous with you because you can find yourself when you meditate, because when I close my eye, all I can think of is all the thoughts that going through my mind.
Yes.
I haven't bought eggs yet. I haven't washed my clothes. Oh my gosh, I need to buy new shoes for the kids, and oh my god, oh wait a minute, there's some stuff at work that I haven't finished yet. Like I could not put my head to rest because we all thinkers, and you're not, but how the thinker works. We think too much, and
Yes.
just a moment for yourself. It's good.
Yes, I also think a lot, like because like I buy myself a lot, so I think a lot of stuff. But there are some tips you can try. So first of all, I can give you like a tip that is you set a timer around 15 minutes is okay. and you don't have to think about time. And then the second thing is you can use some videos on YouTube. It's good enough. So as soon as you turn it on, you turn on do not disturb on your phone, and you just sit there by yourself, and you enjoy that 15 minutes of yourself. Because trust me, in the first week I tried 7 times, like it's nothing. I don't feel anything. That's like nothing. But trust me, after that, like the 8th, the 10th time I try it, I feel different. Like the feeling is inside. It's just feel different whenever I face a situation or something came up. I just think different, and that's it. That's where I noticed that, oh, this is where I thought before, this is where I think now. So that is the point I realized that, oh, this is really worked. So that's why I should you should try it like a few times. So after 7 days, you can feel it. Trust me. Just give it a shot and you can feel it.
See a lot of people nodding. All you guys try meditating?
Yeah, well, I
Is it-
do. I think a lot of other famous people like Oprah also have a time in a day when she's trying to, you just sit there for 10 to 15 minutes and get centered. Like basically just focus on yourself, but you have to get to do it a couple of times before you get used to it. It's called discipline. And just like any other things we do in life, we have to have discipline. I mean, when you work, you also focus on your work, right? And then you're trying to eliminate all of those thoughts outside. But basically, you can do that because you've been doing it for a long time. So now, like, try to give it a shot and just, try to discipline yourself into meditating. I'm doing it like 15 minutes at the start of my day to get centered. So basically, I think it's a really good thing that Tien brought it up is really, really helpful. Yeah. And for me, I'm also Catholic. So anytime that I go to church every Sunday is also a time for me to meditate. Yeah. So it can be anything that you do. Like I came to this idea that meditation is not really just sitting there being quiet and doing nothing. It's actually embedded into any activities you can do. For example, you're folding your clothes and you just focus on folding your clothes without thinking about anything. Then that meditation, right? It's like it's like when you do your work, or it's like me going to the church, or you can actually kind of like doing something for your kids and just focus on that only. And of course, your breathing. So that's the core idea of meditation, I guess. It's not like, okay, you have to sit there doing nothing and
yeah, exactly. Because like, here's my point. Like, because human brain is like a monkey. They're always searching for a branch, like jumping from this branch to the other. So whenever I do anything like a single task, like folding clothes or just drinking water, I keep thinking about other things. It's like it's just running around me. So that's why I'm be like, I have to spend this time to do it. Otherwise, I just keep thinking. I can't stop. So yeah, that's the core idea exactly. So that's why I know that I have to spend this time for meditate. So yeah, that's pretty much.
You can do that during a walk. I mean, during the time I walk, you can actually breathe the fresh air. And also it's kind of silly, but I think it's very useful for me. When I walk, I kind of like count my step. I just focus on counting my step and see, okay, if I kind of like step this one longer than the other one. And after a while, that's the only things that I focus on at that time. Of course, you have to look at the road as well. If you don't want to get hit on the bus, get hit by the bus. So basically, yeah, that's the idea. You can actually try to do it with other things, but the core idea is just focus on what you are doing only and just try to get out of any other thinking. So I found it's super, super powerful too.
Cool. So if anybody want to connect to each other, put LinkedIn or Facebook on the chat, we can connect to each other. And I know Adam went away with his camera off to meditate. Let's talk a little bit about his meditation.
We have visitors coming and I need to do a few things before they came over.
So, you know, when you have visitor, you have to clean up your house before people coming in so they don't judge. That's a normal thing. Anyway, so put your LinkedIn or Facebook on the chat if we want to connect to each other. We went over half an hour. I hope you enjoyed the session today. And again, this is the call that I post on HNV, and I hope that we all find the community that we want it to be within the Vietnamese community. And I know there's familiar faces. If you need support, you need us to comment on your presentation, mentor support, like William mentioned earlier, when you search for your job, and even personally, you come in, you talk to us in different languages, and then we can connect on LinkedIn or Facebook, talking in our languages. But these are the kind of support that I'm looking for and I hope that we can, you know, we support you in any career job or any personal life, any problem you have. And that's what the community that I want to create, that I want to have people support each other. I support you, you support another person support another person. And that's the community that I want to build. So I hope you enjoy the session today. And I hope to see you in next sessions. Good. Any last comment you want to make before we end the call today?
Just so you guys know, we have a social event 2 weeks later. So if you guys wish to come, connect, have a good chat, or whatever comes to your mind, or just come and to have a little practicing on speaking English, or just going to see new people, or bring your friends with us.
Yeah.
Bring your friends. Said like, oh, I got this event, and then people go there and they talk some really funny stuff or some really useful tips, and tell them to join us. And yeah, it's gonna be the community we want to build is as big as possible. So the bigger it is, so the better it will be, right, Steve, Flora? I hope it's gonna be better soon in the future.
It will be better, Sam. I love your hair. Looks great on you today.
He's gonna dance for the social event for us.
I can do belly dance.
Hopefully we can bring you in Toronto so we can, you know, socially together and interact. But anyway, Rosie, have a good night. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, everyone on the call, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you,
Thank you, Flora,
Thank
for
you.
organizing all of these.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, William. Thank you.